Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Call Me Izzy, written by Jamie Wax and starring the legendary Jean Smart. Now, this is just a one-woman play, one act, 90 minutes, and it's playing at Studio 54. And it's a premiere on Broadway, unheard of. It's also the first show of the 2025-26 Broadway season, and I'm happy to report that it's very good, especially considering that it is brand spanking new. Now, the play centers on a woman from rural Louisiana. Her name's Isabel, and she has shown remarkable talent as a writer since childhood. Her teachers saw it, her rare friends saw it, and eventually others in a position to help her began to take notice too. But the one thing standing in her way, her husband. She married this guy at 19 years old. He was a bit older, 24 or something. And he's a familiar archetype. He's the violent, beer-drinking, controlling redneck who sees his wife's intellect as a threat to his masculinity. And we've seen this character before in many plays and movies: Waitress, Crimes of the Heart, Sleeping with the Enemy, The Burning Bed, countless others. And we've seen this story of a brilliant, emotionally rich woman who's stuck in a cycle of abuse and can't get out. But I do have to say that Jean Smart makes this feel very present and very alive. So let's get into it. Was I bored? Not at all. It's a short play. And Jean Smart is perfection in this role. I may not be able to verbalize why Izzy doesn't just get up and leave her husband, but watching her, I really felt it. I felt because Jean showed me that she just could not leave. She gives us a woman who's been worn down and shaped by decades of fear, shame, and deferred dreams. One of the favorite things that she does, because it's a solo play, of course, she has to portray other people in her life, and she does it in a way that a real Southern woman might imitate others. She never fully drops her Louisiana drawl, even when mimicking someone that is out of state or from New York or Jewish or whatever. And it's very believable. It's nuanced, it's layered, and it's incredibly human. The performance is full of highs and lows and moments of deep sorrow and sharp humor. Honestly, it's a masterclass in acting. So, was I confused? Mostly, no. There is some non-linear storytelling, which I like, but occasionally I lost a little track of the timeline as Izzy was jumping between memories and anecdotes. But nothing that really pulled me out of the story. One small mystery that bugged me was the absence of children. We do learn that she had a child who died shortly after birth, but for a woman who has stayed in this marriage for 50 years, it raises questions for me about whether more children were ever in the picture and how that was avoided. So that brings me to a slightly awkward point. The character of Izzy doesn't seem to be 73 years old. Jean Smart is 73, and she's fantastic. But this play feels like it was written for a woman in her 40s, even though it was written for Jean Smart. And so if she's been with this man for 5 decades, it starts to feel like they probably should have found a way to make it work, right? To stay around that long. So it doesn't really match the emotional crescendo of the play. The kind of violence and control that is described in this play feels like something that would peak or end by at least 10 years and not 50. And it also makes me feel less empathetic for a woman who stays that long. So a little cognitive dissonance there. But honestly, Jean is such a delight on stage, and she's such a force that I didn't mind it. And her hair is blonde, and her energy is that of a much younger woman. And she sells the character no matter what age you think she's supposed to be. I'd be curious to ask her what age in her mind the character is. So, spoiler alert. For those of you who don't like spoilers, this is where you need to skip ahead. Wait till the flashing stops. I just want to call out one little story beat that I felt was a little confusing. Izzy has a friend, kind of her only friend, who lives in the trailer park with her. And this friend has good intentions, but she submits some of Izzy's poems that she's written that talk about the abuse, and they're very damning towards her husband. And she submits them this contest and with Izzy's real name, and they get published. So I was kind of baffled that her friend would do something that dangerous and life-threatening when she knows how violent Izzy's husband is. And to do this without her consent just seemed really irresponsible and not a very good friend and very reckless. But does create drama. And what also wasn't quite clear is that Izzy didn't seem to know who did this, but to the audience, of course, it's very clear who did it. So, and another moment that I'm still trying to decide how I feel about it, and please comment below when you see the play, is when Izzy meets this rich couple who have selected her to win a writing prize. And this wealthy Jewish woman from New York divulges that her husband has also been physically abusive. It's a great moment that allows Izzy to bond with this woman, but as an audience member, it was kind of sending me a mixed message, as if to say, this woman stayed in an abusive relationship and look where she is now. So I wasn't sure if this was something that was telling Izzy that she should stick it out, or I guess it was more for her to bond, but it really pulled me. So if you felt the same thing, let me know. And if it didn't bother you, or if you felt it really added something to play, please comment below. But even with these bumps, Call Me Izzy is really a powerful piece of theater. It is filled with inevitability. We know from the opening scene where she's scribbling poems on toilet paper with eyeliner. And so we know that this woman is desperate and that this desperation will only grow. There's very little surprises in where the story is headed, but I think the playwright probably knows that, and the journey is really the point of it. And watching Jean Smart guide us through that journey is more than worth the price of admission. And speaking of, I scored my ticket on TodayTix. I think it was like 45, 50 bucks. Well worth the price for this show. So if you're a fan of Jean Smart, or if you like great acting and emotionally rich writing, and you can handle 90 minutes of feeling sad and angry towards terrible men, then this one's for you. You should go check out Call Me Izzy. And I personally am glad I saw it, but I love everything that I see. But you do need to be in a bit of a mood to get into the emotions that this play will make you feel. So go check this out and let me know what you think.
Don't bore me, don't confuse me. If you do, then you'll lose me. Don't wanna drift away, wanna stay inside the play. Keep me engaged, keep me amused with what's in front